How to ditch the trauma. I've had trauma in my life and I've battled with it a lot in my 30s. And I'm trying to simulate a framework to ditch it, to get rid of it. And this is why, one of the many reasons why I started this channel is because I know there's a lot of people who have a lot of hidden trauma within them that makes them operate in the world in a slightly dysfunctional way or a very dysfunctional way. And I'm always looking for solutions or keys or wisdom. And I'm so happy that my community, you guys, referred me to AP because I've been really enjoying his teachings. And this is stuff that I would do already. It was just watch his videos by myself because I'm always just trying to get more. I'm just trying to get better. And I know that there's a huge community out there that's trying to get better, make their lives better. And that's who I'm trying to attract. And so instead of doing this by myself, I like to do it as a family where, it's not fun doing the work, right? I'd rather just go entertain ourselves. But that's why we're doing these videos. This one I'm really interested in. I'm going to get through the entire thing. It's 7 minutes long. I'm going to keep my comments to a minimum, or at least try to, and then we'll react as things progress. But thanks for being here.
This up. My question is about seeing and perceiving that helps make things appear simple. Everyone on the battlefield faced trauma of some kind. The same eyes that help us see are also the same eyes that help us sleep, bring peace. Considering Arjun, his plate is full of trauma. So how does a wise person emerge out of their past trauma if they do not close their eyes, if they do not look away?
The same answer, the same thing. Trauma is to you, and trauma is big to you. By itself, in itself, trauma is just a fact.
I love how he personalizes it. It's big to you. It's not big to anybody else. That almost, for some reason, makes the trauma feel less like, okay, it's a game again. This stuff and the mental chatter and all the visceral emotional activity that goes along with it that seizes me. I give it too much power, too much attention. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I let it control my life. And that's not always, but there are times that, you get grip locked by trauma. And so this right here, just already, AP just gives me a little bit more ease, just a little bit more less tension. And that's why we love him.
An event. It's by itself, in itself, trauma is just a fact, an event. It carries no meaning.
Carries no meaning.
A person dies. It's a fact, it's an event. Does it have the same meaning for everybody? No. So whatsoever has...
That's true. My mother died back in 2020. How I feel about that, that's affected my life is completely different than many other people because she's not their mother. And so that's already showing me that this is my mind, my facts, and I'm using them to make me feel sorry for myself, afraid of potential other things happening because a loss of life, etc. This is so really cool.
Has happened. No. So whatsoever has happened has a certain meaning only in your own personal context. So the meaning is to you. Why is the meaning to you? Because you're attending to the trauma. You do not need to heal. You need to forget. How to forget? Look towards the right direction. Let your mind be full of the right thing. Only then the trauma and such.
This is the same advice I would give to somebody else. I tell them that if we're focused on our problems and our tribulations, we're going to get more of that. We're amplifying that noise. We're going to see life in that lens. Our consciousness is our focus. Our consciousness is our focus. What are we mentally churning on? And even if we have emotional volatility that happens, something comes up, like we can give that power or we can just stop focusing on it. I love this. Let's just re-listen to it, because remember, these videos are not just about listening. It's about also contemplating an actual action of contemplating what that really means, not just listening.
In your own personal context. So whatsoever has happened has a certain meaning only in your own personal context. So the meaning is to you.
Yeah.
Why is the meaning to you? Because you're attending to the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You do not need to heal.
You do not need to heal.
You need to forget.
You need to forget. You do not need to heal. You need to forget. That's big, because I feel like, at least in Western psychology, there's a lot of healing that needs to happen. You need to unearth everything. You need to bring it out to the surface. You need to, massage it and, just, make it a thing. And what he's saying is like, don't make it a thing. It was something that happened. You need to forget. And a lot of people say, well, if you forget, you'll suppress your feelings and, you really not know what's going on. But I disagree with this, because it's true. Consciousness, our focus, our hyper focus is our consciousness. And we can think about a million different things. And we can literally forget our trauma, because we do. If you have trauma, you don't live with it all the time. Like I said, you can go dancing, or you can play a sport where you're super involved, like activity, and like you have no time to think, and that trauma can't exist in you. Maybe you play video games, and maybe that's a way where you're so hyper focused on what's going on, you don't have that trauma lingering in you. So essentially, at our baseline level, when nothing's going on, we're not distracting ourselves, we let that trauma come in. And so what he's saying is like, you know how to forget it anyway, so why not just completely forget it? I think there's true intrinsic power in that. Completely forgetting it, moving beyond it, letting it go, stop having attachment to it.
How to forget? Look towards the right direction. Let your mind be full of the right thing. Only then the trauma and such things will be crowded out, ejected out. If you remain the same person to whom the trauma happened, the trauma will remain a continuous happening, because you are still continuous.
Wow.
Nobody is ever able to attend to the past, resolve it, and come out of it. The only way is to outgrow the past, walk past the past.
Walk past the past.
Has the past been resolved? No. It's been transcended. It's been forgotten. Why? Because I have a place to reach. I just can't keep hanging there.
But if we
Walk past the trauma. I love it. It's transcendence. Forgetting is transcending the distraction, the trauma, the event, the circumstances, the accumulation of energy that you've coalesced into a story or a narrative that you've built your life around, unintentionally, of course. And he's saying that that you can transcend that by forgetting it, by completely removing it from yourself. Because you do it. My point is, you do it already. You do it in certain ways, probably every day. You get out of that trauma by doing activity. Something takes you out of that. So if you can do it then we need to learn how to do it in every circumstance, every situation. To not imbue our life with it, but to imbue ourselves into right thinking, which is maybe a version of ourselves that doesn't get squeezed by anxiety or trauma, that is impervious to it, that when things creep up, they don't grip lock us like they used to, but it's a mild disturbance. And this to me is mental labor, mental growth, personal development, spiritual evolution. And this is a spiritual path. This is a spiritual journey, because there are many things that our mind wants to hold on to. And we need to transcend the mind, that wrongful thinking that doesn't serve ourselves at our highest state. We want to be at a place every single day, where we're light, we're at ease, we're wholehearted. We're not restricted or constricted because of thoughts or thought patterns that we've held on to due to trauma.
Is that not changing your song?
If your song was indeed beautiful, why did it give you the trauma? The song is supposed to be delight, not trauma. If it results in trauma, it's some kind of I don't know what.
Yes, most of us live in a drama of our own making, a nightmare, if you will. And that's not a beautiful song. Remember, before you could even think, you were a baby, and that baby was filled with life, energy. It had so much of it that it didn't need to think, to feel, to be. The mental patterns, language, then gets in us, and it becomes our persona, our personal reality, our personality. And we identify the things that the ego is afraid of. Some of you guys don't like the word ego that I use, but it's just my own way of interpreting the part of the mind that is entrapped in fight and flight and survival. It constantly observes everything and looks for the worst possible outcome. Many of us will live at that. That's what's controlling our narrative. Then there's others who has transcended the mind, transcended the ego, and live in a place of complete contentment, ease, effortlessness. And I would say AP is one of those people who do. Does that make sense? So to be able to segregate that away from me is very important for my own evolution. We all have a scared inner child. And if that's what we're listening to, and then we want to create a song from that drama, he's saying that it's not a beautiful song anyway.
What genre of song it is?
I'm always looking for tools to free me. And I see that this woman is right now stuck in her trauma. She needs to justify it to herself. She needs to hold on to it. She needs to, I do too. I get trapped in my own trauma, and it lives in me, and I won't let it go. Just like this woman, she has a tool in a toolkit right now to let it go, to be like, gosh, my overreactive mind, my overreactive imagination. You're right. It's just a story. The song of life is so much more beautiful than that. That's not really the narrative of life, or the narrative of actually what I am, which is my spirit, my soul. And I can identify with that beauty, that energetic frequency that keeps me big-ored, fully alive, fully vibrant, not bogged down. And you can tell that she's bogged down by her memory. She's bogged down, at least listen, we're always oscillating. Our energy's always oscillating. But why do we hold on so tightly? I ask myself that same question, like why? Why is it so important? And in the beginning of this video, he showed us that it's not important at all. It's important to you, but that event's not really that important to anybody else. So you hold on to it. Well, no one else does, and no one else is bogged down by it because they don't think about it at all times. And it sounds simple because it is, but it's also so hard. Sometimes the most simple things are the hardest, right?
There is nobody who has not been through pain in life. That pain is not an event. That pain is a compulsory reflection of who you are at that point. Given who you are at that point, that pain had to come.
Okay.
In one form or the other.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's our compulsiveness to hold on that keeps us kind of trapped in that same moment in time, I guess you could say. And so we don't let it go. It's our compulsive. And I don't know why the mind does it, but it does. And we need to transcend that moment.
We think of the pain or the trauma the sorrow, the suffering as an accident. It is not an accident. Huh? It is a necessity. It is an inevitability. It had to happen because you were the way you were and I was the way I was. The only way to come out of it is to come out of yourself. Do not remain the one who got the trauma, and the trauma will be no more. Otherwise, new traumatic experiences will be new only in name and face. That's why for most people, life is a series of unpleasant happenings. Just that the unpleasantness occurs each time in a new shape and form.
Wow.
Nothing is new. The unpleasantness is very old because one has managed to remain the same old self.
Wow.
If I am the same, my experiences will remain the same, obviously, no? That's the mark of inner growth. You feel unable relating to your past. You start looking at your younger self, your previous self, as somebody else. That's a mark, a characteristic of maturity. And you are able to actually smile in dissociation. You say, oh, I was just 25 and I was so stupid. If you can look at your 25-year-old self and say, oh, she was so stupid, then you have left behind all the trauma you faced till or at 25. Outgrow your past. Look at your past and say, oh, she's a different girl. She's not me. And I find no pleasure even looking at her. I mean, all right, she's a younger self, some kind of a younger sister. Cute, all right. But nothing of much interest to me now. I have better things to look at. I have more important stuff to attend to. She lost her doll at the age of 8. And I'm 28 and still crying. Surely I have not grown. Huh?
Yep. Agreed. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Very, very beautiful. We took 7 minutes and I already feel lighter. And remember, we need to consume things that make us feel elevated, that make us feel light of our problems. And this is why I bring up humor a lot in life is I think the moment we stop losing the humor in ourselves and in with friends or just anywhere we go, we start taking life way too serious. And just like we take our mind way too serious, it's a fun space in us that we identify with very, very to the point where it grips us and we've lost control. Whereas if you can make light of things and if you can move on, humor is a great way of transcendence, I believe. And like AP says, we've all gone through pain. AP has gone through pain. AP goes through pain. But he doesn't let it distort him in the same way that an average thinker might. He continuously narrates his story in a way that serves his ultimate goal, which is I don't know what is, but it's free from mental disorder, mental distraction, and having a calmness and easiness in walking through life. Some people walk through life and it feels like a living hell. Some people walk through life and they know that there's things around them that can harm them, but they don't focus in on it. And so they can be this light, easygoing, humorous, joyful, and spirited human being. I hope this video really helped you. I hope it allowed you to lighten up a bit in your own mind, to transcend your trauma, to overcome those things and those narratives, and to keep reaching a better place in your life. I'm really excited for 2025. I'm really excited to continue this journey with my new followers. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to join the community. We're all about making people better. I don't have all the answers, but I'm not afraid to just try to figure it out, to create a conversation, to get other people on board to want to create a conversation on how we work internally and share strategies and tools and information that makes us better as a people. So anyway, I love you guys. I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you so much for your time.